Okay, so you know how a lot of people are really interested in that assistant lecturer position?
Mm-hmm.
Well, we're going to tackle that today.
Oh.
And we've got this really cool, interview guide to help
Oh,
us.
nice.
So we're going to do a deep dive into this guide and, pull out the useful bits so people can feel confident going into these interviews.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they'll be really helpful
Yeah.
for a lot of folks out there.
So this is not just, what to say in an interview, you know?
Right.
It's, how to understand what they're looking for and how to present yourself in the best way.
Yeah, the guide actually gets into the minds of the interviewers.
Sure.
So it's not just surface level questions and answers. It's
Mhm.
really strategy.
Yeah, exactly. It's strategic. It's
Yeah.
understanding what they're trying to assess and how to nail it.
Absolutely.
It even covers common mistakes people make that can really hurt their chances.
Ooh, that's so helpful.
Right. And it
Yeah.
gets really specific.
Oh, wow.
It breaks down individual interview questions.
Oh, nice.
And gives you the inside scoop on what the interviewers are thinking and how to give them exactly what they want.
Wow. Okay, so tailored responses to impress.
Yes. And there's even more.
Oh.
Role catcher.
Yeah.
If you sign up for a free account, you get all these extra tools.
No way.
Yeah, saving your favorite questions. They have a huge database, 120,000 plus questions.
Right.
You can get AI feedback on your practice responses,
Okay.
both written and video, and you can even tailor your answers to the specific job you're going for.
Wow, that is huge.
Right.
It's like personalized prep.
It's like having a coach
Yeah.
in your pocket.
I love it.
So the guide covers tons of questions, but today we're going to focus on 9 that we think are the most important for this role.
Okay, great.
These are the questions that really show what it takes to be a great assistant lecturer.
Sounds good. I'm ready.
All right, so we'll cover things like your teaching experience, how you stay up to date in your field, your teaching philosophy,
Okay.
and really important, how you make sure all your students feel included and supported.
Love that.
Yes, so it's not just about what you know,
Right.
it's about how you teach and how you create a good learning environment for everyone.
Absolutely. It's like a holistic view of teaching.
Exactly, and we'll also get into things like how you adapt your teaching for different learners.
Okay.
How you measure if your students are actually learning what you want them to learn.
Right.
How you handle tough situations in the classroom.
Okay.
Your mentoring experience and how well you can collaborate with other faculty and departments.
So a really well-rounded picture of what's expected.
Exactly. It's the whole package.
Okay, I like it.
For each question, we'll break down what the interviewer is really trying to find out, which the guide calls insights,
Mm-hmm.
and then we'll look at the best way to answer, which is approach.
Okay.
And we'll make sure to point out the things you should definitely avoid.
Gotcha, like the big no-nos.
Exactly. The
Right.
avoid sections are little nuggets of wisdom that can save you from making a bad impression.
I love nuggets of wisdom.
Me too. Okay, so question number 1.
All right, hit me.
It's the classic, can you tell us about your experience in teaching?
Okay. Basic, but important.
Right. But the guide says the interviewer isn't just looking for a list of all the classes you've taught.
So there's more to it than that.
Yeah, they want to see how your experience matches up with this specific assistant lecturer job.
Okay, so tailor it to the position.
Exactly. You need to highlight the parts of your experience that are most relevant to the courses you'd be teaching
Mm-hmm.
and the kind of students you'd be working with.
Makes sense.
So the best approach is to give a quick but thorough overview of your teaching background.
Okay.
Make sure to mention any fancy qualifications or certifications you have.
Oh, yes. Show off those credentials.
Exactly. And the guide also suggests mentioning any teaching methodologies you're familiar with.
Methodology.
Yeah, those different approaches and strategies you use in the classroom.
Oh, okay, got it.
Like active learning, where students are really involved.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe using technology in your lectures.
Yeah, okay, I get it.
It's all about showing them what makes you qualified and how you actually teach.
So prove you're the real deal.
Yes. And the worst thing you can do here is be vague, or
Okay.
even worse, exaggerate your experience.
Don't lie.
No, stick to the facts and focus on what you can actually back up with evidence.
Right. Keep it real.
Okay, question number 2. How do you keep up with the latest teaching methods and developments in your field?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Right, because things are constantly changing in academia.
Yeah, for sure.
New research, new ways of teaching.
Always something new.
The interviewer wants to see that you're committed to constantly learning and growing as a teacher.
So they're looking for lifelong learners.
Exactly. They want to know that you're not just stuck in your old ways, but you're actively trying to improve.
Yeah, makes sense.
So the guide recommends giving specific examples like conferences you've attended, workshops, or online courses you've taken to boost your skills.
Oh, okay, so like professional development stuff.
Yes. Or maybe you've read some important academic publications or research in your field.
Showing you're on top of the latest trends.
Exactly. It's about proving that you're making an effort to stay informed and up to date.
Gotcha.
And the biggest mistake you can make here is saying that you're perfectly happy with your current methods.
Oh, like being complacent.
Yeah, that makes you seem like you're not interested in learning anything new.
Yeah, not a good look.
And that's not the impression you want to give.
No, for sure.
Because institutions are looking for faculty who are innovative and want to grow.
Right, they want people who are open to new ideas.
Exactly. Like, for example, there's this big trend right now of using educational technology more and more.
Oh yeah, like in online classes and even in person.
If you can mention that you're using these new tools, it shows you're committed to keeping up with the times.
Good point.
Okay, let's move on to question 3. Can you describe your teaching philosophy?
Ooh, getting deep now.
Right. This is about your fundamental beliefs about teaching and learning.
Like what drives you as a teacher?
The interviewer wants to understand your approach and see if it matches with the values of the institution.
So they're looking for alignment.
Exactly. They want to know what principles guide your decisions in the classroom and how you see yourself shaping students' learning experiences.
Interesting.
The guide says you should give a clear and concise overview of your teaching philosophy.
Right.
Talk about your main goals for students, the strategies you use to help them reach those goals, and your overall learning objectives.
Okay, so like the big picture stuff.
Yes, and again, mentioning specific teaching methodologies can really strengthen your answer.
Oh yeah, those buzzwords.
Right, but the worst thing you can do here is give a generic or vague answer.
Like something that anyone could say.
Exactly. Your teaching philosophy should be personal and unique.
Right, it should reflect what you truly believe.
Yes, think about what makes your approach to teaching special and how you bring those beliefs to life in the classroom.
Makes sense.
Okay, question 4. How do you ensure that students from diverse backgrounds feel included and valued in your classroom?
Oh, that's so important.
This is about creating a welcoming and equitable learning environment for all students.
Yeah, everyone deserves to feel respected and supported.
Absolutely. The interviewer wants to see that you understand diversity, equity, and inclusion, and that you actively work to make your classroom a safe and supportive space for everyone.
So it's not just about knowing the terms, it's about action.
Exactly. The guide stresses that you need to give specific, concrete examples of how you've accommodated diverse needs and backgrounds in your teaching.
Okay, so like real life examples.
Yes, and if you have any training or certifications in inclusive pedagogy or culturally responsive teaching, definitely mention those.
Oh yeah, to show you've put in the work.
Right, it shows that you're committed to this stuff.
Yeah.
But the big mistake here is giving those broad, generic answers that don't show a real understanding of diversity and inclusion.
So no empty words.
No, don't just say you value all students. You need to show it.
Yeah, like how do you actually make your classroom inclusive?
Exactly. Give specific actions you've taken and the reasoning behind them.
Right, like back it up with concrete examples.
Like maybe you talk about how you include diverse perspectives in your course materials, or how you structure group work to make sure everyone can participate.
Oh yeah, that's important.
It's about making sure everyone feels like they belong.
I love that.
And you know, it's really helpful if you can explain the benefits of inclusive classrooms.
Oh, like why it's important for everyone.
Yes, both for students' learning and their emotional well-being.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay, let's move on to question 5. Can you describe a time when you had to modify your teaching approach to accommodate a student's learning needs?
Ooh, flexibility time.
Right, this is about being responsive and adaptable as a teacher.
Yeah, because not all students learn the same way.
Exactly. The interviewer wants to see that you can adjust your methods to meet the individual needs of your students.
So it's about being student-centered.
Yes, it's about recognizing that teaching is not one size fits all.
Right, you got to be willing to change things up.
The best way to answer this is to share a specific example of when you had to make a change for a student or group of students.
Yeah, so like a real-life story.
Yes, clearly explain what the learning need was, what changes you made, and what the outcome was.
So like the problem, the solution, and the result.
Exactly. And if you can quantify the results, that's even better.
Oh yeah, like show the impact.
But the biggest mistake you can make here is giving examples that don't show any real flexibility or adaptability.
So like don't just say you repeated the information louder.
Yeah, the situation you described should show that you're willing to go beyond your usual methods to really support student learning.
Gotcha, make it meaningful.
Okay, question 6. takes us into the world of assessment. How do you measure student learning outcomes? Oh, that's interesting.
This is all about how you figure out if your teaching is actually working.
Yeah, like are the students actually learning what you want them to learn?
Exactly.
Right.
The interviewer wants to understand your approach to assessment and how it aligns with the institution's policies.
So it's about being accountable.
Yes. The guide says you should give a quick overview of your methods.
Okay.
Mention any specific tools or methodologies you use, like formative assessments.
The formative assessment?
Yeah, those are like ongoing checks for understanding throughout the course.
Oh, okay. So like quizzes and stuff.
Yes, or summative assessments, which are like the big tests at the end.
Mm,
You can also mention things like rubrics, which are scoring guides,
okay.
or other evaluation techniques.
Gotcha.
And it's important to briefly mention that you're aware of and follow the institution's policies on assessment.
Right. So you're playing by the rules.
Exactly. But the big mistake here is giving a generic answer that doesn't really show you understand learning outcomes or how to measure them.
So don't just say you give tests. No, be specific about the methods you use and explain why they're effective.
Okay, so be clear and detailed.
Yes. And it might be helpful to briefly explain the difference between formative and summative assessments.
Oh yeah, that could add some clarity.
Okay, let's move on to question 7, which is all about handling challenges. Can you describe a time when you had to manage a difficult classroom situation?
Ooh, this is a tricky one.
It can be, but the interviewer wants to see how you handle tough situations in a professional and effective way.
So like classroom management skills.
Exactly. They also want to know that you're aware of the institution's policies on student conduct.
Right, so you're not just making up your own rules.
The best approach is to tell a specific story about a difficult situation you faced.
Okay, a real life example.
Yes, clearly explain what happened, what steps you took to address it, and what the outcome was.
So the solution and the resolution.
And make sure to mention any relevant policies or guidelines that you followed.
Right, to show you're following protocol.
Exactly, but the biggest mistake here is giving an example that doesn't showcase your classroom management skills.
So like, don't say you just ignored the problem.
Yeah. Your story should show that you can de-escalate conflict, keep the learning environment positive, and deal with challenging behavior fairly.
Gotcha, you need to be in control.
Okay, question 8 broadens our view a bit. Can you describe a time when you had to mentor a colleague or student?
Ooh, mentoring, that's a good one.
This is about your ability to guide and support others in their academic journey.
Yeah, like being a good role model.
Exactly. The interviewer wants to see your mentoring skills and how your approach aligns with the institution's values.
So they're looking for people who can help others grow.
Yes. The guide suggests sharing a detailed example of a time when you mentored someone.
Okay, another real life story.
Explain the goals of the mentorship, what you did to help them, and what the outcome was.
So like, what did you achieve together?
If you know any specific mentoring methodologies or frameworks, mention those too.
Ooh, yeah, to show you're a professional.
But the main thing to avoid is giving an example that doesn't show real mentoring skills.
So don't just say you gave them a pep talk.
Yeah, your story should highlight your ability to give constructive feedback, offer support, and encourage their growth.
Right, make it impactful.
Okay, and finally, question 9. Can you describe a time when you had to collaborate with other faculty members or departments?
Collaboration is key.
It is, especially in academia.
Yeah, everyone's working together.
The interviewer wants to see that you can work effectively with others, even if they're from different backgrounds or disciplines.
This is like being a team player.
Yes, and they want to see if your approach to teamwork matches the institution's values.
Okay, so like how you fit into the culture.
Exactly. So give a specific example of a time you collaborated with others.
Another story time.
Explain the goals of the project, how you worked together, and what the outcome was.
So like with the how and the result.
Yes. And if you know any specific collaboration methodologies or frameworks, mention those too.
Oh yeah, to show you're strategic.
But the biggest mistake here is giving an example that doesn't show real collaboration skills.
So don't say you just did your own thing.
Yeah. Your story should highlight your ability to communicate clearly, contribute to the team, handle different opinions, and achieve shared goals.
Right, it's all about working together effectively.
So that wraps up our 9 key questions.
Wow, that was a lot.
It was, but hopefully it gave you a good sense of what to expect in your assistant lecturer interview.
Yeah, I feel much more prepared now.
The main takeaway is that it's not just about your subject matter expertise.
Right, it's about the whole package.
Exactly. You need to show that you're a thoughtful, well-prepared, and experienced educator.
Yeah, someone who can teach, mentor, collaborate, and handle any situation.
And don't forget about those resources we talked about.
Oh, yeah, like roll catcher.
Using tools like that can give you a real edge in your prep.
Totally, it's like having a secret weapon.
The guide also mentions their assistant lecturer, career guide, and competency interview directory if you want to dive even deeper.
Okay, cool, so even more resources.
Yeah, they want to give you everything you need to succeed.
That's awesome.
And just to recap, the guide says an assistant lecturer typically shares the workload with lecturers.
Oh,
So things like giving lectures and meeting with students.
mhm.
They're also expected to do their own research.
Oh, right, so it's teaching and research.
And it's usually a full-time permanent position.
Okay, so a real career path.
The guide also gives a whole list of other job titles that are similar to assistant lecturer.
Oh, wow, that's interesting.
Yeah, it shows you the range of opportunities out there.
So, like, what else is out there?
Like performing arts theater instructor, economics, lecturer, medicine lecturer, university teaching assistant,
Okay.
veterinary medicine lecturer, journalism lecturer, computer science engineering, classical languages.
Wow, so many options.
And it's cool to see that a lot of the skills we talked about today are transferable to other roles,
Oh, yeah, like what?
like education studies, lecture economics lecturer, medicine lecturer, classical languages lecturer.
So those core skills are valuable across different fields.
Exactly. So even if you don't end up as an assistant lecturer, what you learn today can still help you in other academic jobs.
That's good to know.
So here's a final thought for you to ponder.
Okay, I'm ready.
We've talked about all these different aspects of being an assistant lecturer,
Mm-hmm.
but higher education is constantly changing.
Yeah, it's always evolving.
So what do you think will change the most in the coming years?
That's a good question.
And how will those changes affect the interview process and the skills that institutions are looking for?
Oh, yeah, like what will they be looking for in the future?
It's worth thinking about the trends and innovations in academia.
Right, to stay ahead of the curve.
So keep exploring and learning, and good luck with your assistant lecturer journey.
Thanks for all the insights.
You're welcome.